welcome to Project Libre Cloud. This is a welcome video that's broken into two sections. One is a quick start and the other going through some advanced items. So you've been provisioned with an account. It should have 10 project managers and 5 team members, allowing you to create users, give them roles, put them on teams, and just check it out. If you need more than that, you can contact our staff and we can update that. But I will sign in with the given credentials I had. And you initially drop into your dashboard. The dashboard will show you all the relevant information at the portfolio level. So everything from the start to finish. So all the relevant information. And you can change any of this. These are sample projects that come with it. So I can say this is pending approval. And it's got a budget status of green and a schedule status also of green. So this is at the project level. Now, a couple things you're going to want to do when you first get an account. You may want to actually import a project. So when you import a project, it will map any resource assignments with the resources you have in the cloud. So what's important is first come through and put your resources in this resource table. And it is capital sensitive with that. And if we go back to the portfolio and cursor over this icon, it's the import icon. If I say import and I select a project to import, you can see that it's saying, do I want to merge and map my resources? I'm going to say yes. The two most common are to map by name and to map by email, which is here. So those are the two most common. And you can see Mark is mapped to Mark, Kelsey to Kelsey, Connor, Kylie, Emmett. However, you're going to see one here, Olivia Rose, is unassigned. So let's inspect why that would be by going back to resources. She is not Olivia Rose. She is Olivia. So I can change that and say Olivia Rose. Go back to the portfolio, import, and I will select that project again. I'll say I will merge using name. And you can now see that Olivia Rose is also mapped. So when I say OK, your project is imported. And when I open that, you can see that everything from tasks to resource assignments are all there. So this is a nice, easy way. What we do tell people to do is to audit your import. It's a great way to save time and bring your projects in, but audit it. So that's how you import projects. You also may want to add a project, and to do that in the portfolio, you click the plus, and this is going to be Project Quickstart. And Project Quickstart has nothing to it. It's a shell of a company. If I click and open it, there is nothing to that, and I'll give it our standard demo with design development. So I'm just adding tasks here sequentially. And I'll say document. I'll just put one more in. And you've seen this before. Oh, I clicked out on that. And then I'll say rollout milestone. So we can very quickly put our tasks in here if we're not importing it. And I can give it a set of durations, so 10 days, 10 days, 5 days, 10 days, and 0 days. Now something new we've done, there's 3 ways to establish precedence relationships. The easy way is to come through here and just drag from one task to another. And you can do that very quickly. However, we have a new ability to also add that here in the spreadsheet. If tasks are far off the screen and you can't easily link them graphically, you can come through here and I can say 2 is also a predecessor to this one. And in this case, I want 2 predecessors. I can say 3 semicolon 4 is a predecessor there. And then I'll go back to linking here. So you can do it that way. You can also do it in the network diagram. And so it's very easy to do that. If I was to say with this, if I was to say 2, 4, it gives it a 4-day lag. So it's 4 days after that starts. So you can go through and do that as well in the process. You can always click on a link and I can remove that lag and say it's 0 day. So you can always click on the link and then update it when you say, okay, it's back to where it was. You can set up summary structures by highlighting a series of tasks. So I'm highlighting tasks 2 through 6, indenting, and you can see now I've got a summary task there. If you have different phases of your project, this is a nice way to go through and see the phases. This corresponds with my work breakdown structure. And a pause here, if you don't use the work breakdown structure, you can hide this icon very easily, and we'll go through and do that. We can also baseline with up to 11 baselines. And a baseline is a snapshot of your project with both the time scale and the scope at a certain point in time. And a good example of that, that's the dark line below. If we want these two tasks, design and document, to start at the same time, we can do so, but you can see our baseline, the initial schedule, is back there. And again, we could even do a 2-day lag on that. So it's now over there. Now, similar to the work breakdown structure, the network diagram is also interactive. And you can see document finishes on 5/31. If I was to move this over and change this back to a finish to start relationship with no lag, it is no longer finishing on 5/31, it finishes on 6/12, and that corresponds here. So this is a very quick way for you to get up and running using Project Libre. You can also highlight a task. Let me highlight test, and I can assign a resource to that. So I'm going to assign Mindy to that resource, and you can see she now appears out here. So that is really almost the end of our introductory. But if I click on this icon over here and go to admin, I can also add a new user. So I'm going to say a new user, and I'll say it's testing Project Libre. I can give it an email, testingpl@testing.com. And then I can actually create, I'll say testing is the password. And when I do this, it's going to create a new resource for me. And by default, it's a team member. But if you want this person to be a project manager, and you can go through what those different permissions are in the advanced section, and I save this, you now have another user. I won't save that now. So I now have a new user. It also creates a resource for me. And so then they can log in as such. And if I go to resources, I now have a new resource as well. So that's a quick hit on how to use Project Libre. Let's move on into the advanced section. And so it's very quick for you to go through and add your project, import your project, assign resources. But there's a couple other areas. We do have a dashboard, and the dashboard's very easy. I've got quadrants here. If I only want one row, so 2 panels, I say 1 row. If I don't want to show all the projects, I can say select a project, and let me just show these 3 projects, apply that, and instead I'm only showing 3. And if I don't like horizontal bars, but I want vertical bars, I could go through and do that. So it's very quick to establish your own dashboard. The other thing in the advanced area, you can create teams. So I have no teams here. I'm going to say the Quickstart team. And what I'm going to do with this Quickstart team is I'm going to put Quickstart, Connor, and Olivia Rose on this. So these 3 people, and it could be a customer or a stakeholder, and I'm going to save this team, and you can see the team is there. Now what I can do is over in the project portfolio side, by default, everyone sees every project, but I could say no, only the Quickstart team does, and I can save that. So again, that team is only these 3 people. If I go back to the portfolio, the only people that will see Project Quickstart are the people on that team, or if you're a portfolio manager. So it's very quick again to go through and do that. You create your users, you give them roles depending on what their roles are. Here are the roles with the permissions. You can create teams, you can put teams on projects, and that eliminates other people seeing that project. A couple other things real quick. The calendar will show you the tasks in a month or in a week or in a day for the currently active project. Again, if you don't want to see that, it's very easy to hide these things, but we can go through that later. The other area that's been updated recently is the resource pool, and this is for all projects. And we've added a view so that you can see a resource's assignments across every project and every task in the project. So Kylie is assigned to these tasks across all projects. And you can see she's over allocated on Thursday and Friday here. She's got 2 different tasks she's assigned to. And we have a resource Gantt bar that will also show you graphically a resource's allocation. So there's blue as well, which is not showing, which is under 50% allocated. Green is 50 to 100% allocated. Red is 100% to 150. And if we were super over allocated, you'd see an orange in there as well. But in this area, that's where Kai was assigned to a couple tasks at the same time. So it was under the 150% threshold. But and anything white in here is no one's assigned in that area. So this is a nice way to go through and do that. So again, the basics are you've got a portfolio. You can add a project or import a project. In the project area, it's very similar to Microsoft Project or Project Libre Desktop, and you can assign resources, set the precedences, you can establish teams, you can have users, but again, you could be in California, in Paris, in South Africa, in Asia, and we can all work together on this project. So it's a multi-project solution and team solution. If you have any questions, you should reach out to us, but this is a quick intro.